Right, day 3. Day 3? No, day 4 we're on now. Crikey, I'm wishing my life away. Although, technically, I don't know, did day 3 just become an extension of day 2? I don't know. Yesterday was a pretty crazy day. Where to begin? Where to begin? Yesterday, it's fair to say, was an extremely difficult day, not helped by a lack of sleep. Today is a new day. I'm now going to try and carve my way around the outside of the Great Bitter Lake, which is fed into and then becomes the Suez Canal. And then I'm going to head up towards Ishmael and see if I can get a photo of the bridge over the Suez Canal. And then I'm going to head to Cairo. Apparently there's a couple of sandy little stone landmarks down in Cairo that people like a photo of, so we'll go and see what that's all about. Viva las tuk-tuk. Yeah, they're all pimped out, they're all funky paint jobs and big stereos, and there's all sorts of stuff going on with them. They're brilliant, and they're all ridden around by kids, which is both great and terrifying in equal measure, I guess. Right, shall we discuss yesterday, as I've got bugger all else to bloody look at. Yesterday was probably the toughest day of the 3 I've done so far. 1100 kilometers on the first day, that hurt, but yesterday to try and do a day's riding from Nuiba to Suez, having not had any sleep, was so tough. And actually almost dangerous. Under any other circumstances, there's no way I would have done that. But you know, you've got your timetable, and you understand that anything you don't do, you then have to catch it up another time. It's a perpetual cycle. But I made it. I made it to Suez. I only had one little hiccup where I was just riding along the highway and suddenly went and woke up, realised I'd woken up. I think it must have been literally for like a nanosecond, but it doesn't matter, it still was, whoa, you know, it was a sign for me that I needed to stop and I needed to get something on board and I needed to have a little rest. But the rest of it, it's pretty much just highways and autopilot, so it wasn't, thankfully, too taxing. The only issues that I did come across though is that there were checkpoints at very regular intervals all the way up and down down and up the South Sinai coastline, and being fully geared up on a motorbike, whoops, everybody took great interest in me, and everybody wanted to know what was going on, everybody wanted to know where I was going, what I was doing, why I was there. I did kind of get one explanation. I kept asking why am I being stopped? Every single checkpoint I get stopped. and it's costing me time, and it's costing me a shed load of effort. And as I say, I was really, really tired, so I didn't have much patience either, unfortunately. The only explanation that I got from one checkpoint was on the telephone. We had a policeman on the telephone who was translating between me and the guard, and he explained to me that they'd been tracking me from Nuiba to Sharm, and from Sharm up towards Suez. They'd been checking in at all the checkpoints, and I didn't quite catch exactly what was said because it was a bit of a crap speakerphone line. But either somebody had been following me that they were aware of, or I was going to be followed for my own protection. Somebody would be following me at various points of my route to make sure that, you know, I was still going and I was safe, and they could account for me. Which I suppose, as a British passport holder, you know, we are used to having the freedoms of wandering around and going wherever we want, and you know, we don't even like being watched on CCTV in a town centre. That's a personal affront to our civil liberties and our human rights. And you come to places like this, and like I say, every 50 kilometres I was getting stopped. Who are you? What nationality are you? Where have you come from? Where are you going? Why are you doing this? What's your inside leg measurement? What's your IQ? Have you got any money on you? And it got really, really frustrating, but they are doing their jobs of keeping people like me safe. So as much as I was getting a bit short and shirty with them yesterday, actually the fact that I had a safe and otherwise uneventful journey all the way around the South Sinai district, which, it has to be said, on the Foreign Commonwealth Office website is down as a do not go here. We advise against all but essential travel in this region, I think is there or thereabouts the wording. So in other words, like I say, don't go there. You've got the North Sinai government as well, which that part of Egypt has a border with Israel, and that is a definitive do not go here. That is a red area in the same way that Libya is a red area, in the same way that Syria is a red area. Do not go here under any circumstances. Now, annoyingly, when I got off the boat at Nuiba, there is a highway that runs pretty much directly from Nuiba to Suez. It takes about 2 hours, but because it runs through North Sinai, which is a no-go area, I couldn't take it. Simple as that. You know, shit happens. It's made for a much more fun adventure. We got round Suez, and I've managed to tick off a box that I wasn't particularly looking to tick off, but at least I can say I've done it. I've now got my top trump card. I've ridden my motorbike under the Suez Canal. I wasn't able to film it. It is a military checkpoint at both ends, and they almost turned me around and sent me back. I switched it off, but because I still had the camera on there, they got really, really twitchy about, why have you got a camera? We want to see your memory card. Take your camera off, let us take it away, let us check the footage on it. It's like, no, I'll put it away, switch it off. It's not on, I'll put it away in my bag. And they're like, no, we want the memory card out of it. It's like, you can't read the memory card, you can't read it without a laptop, you can't read it without a PC. Mafi mushkila, no problem. Feigning a little bit of British ignorance, as an ex-military person myself, I do know that they can, and they have every right to confiscate all my stuff, but we'll try and play it down and hopefully let it go on. Most of the military guys that are running the checkpoints and stuff are young lads anyway, so they saw the bike, they saw I was British, they could hear me speaking a bit of Arabic, and they all wanted to be my friend. A couple of the guys wanted photos, which I had no problems obliging with that one. What's that? You want to let me carry on without any issues, but you want a photo in exchange? Cheers, easy, we will take some of that. So the timetable for the next couple of days, I am going to get to Alexandria tonight I'm in my hotel for 3 nights, I think it is. Tomorrow I will be arriving at the shipping company's offices with all of my paperwork ready to start the handover of my bike. Now, we do need to try and get hold of that traffic fine violation certificate that I could not get from the port in Nuiba. The Aswan police were not even remotely interested in helping me up there. They just wanted to get rid of me and constantly telling me, you can't get it here, you have to get it in Alexandria. I have made contact with the shipping company and I've made them aware of this. As I said in yesterday's video, the lady who I've been dealing with at the shipping company, she got 2 phone calls in the morning at about 5:30 and 6 o'clock, which yeah, I'd like to apologise for that, because it actually turns out she's on holiday this week as well, so that's a major boo-boo on my part. But as I say, I was kind of stuck and didn't really know what else to do, so I've emailed them. They are aware of it, and as much as they're saying, but it's going to be very difficult to get you one in Alexandria, they're going to try and make the preparations that we can get it sorted. So I start the paperwork process tomorrow. Friday is the holy day here in Egypt, exactly the same as it is in Saudi Arabia. So everything is closed. It is like the old-fashioned UK Sunday trading. Nothing, everything's closed. So I have the day to myself. I have the day to do whatever I want. Then Saturday I need to go to the docks, and I need to do all of the customs paperwork all over again to get rid of the bike out of the country, and I hand it over to the shipping company and they will take the bike on from there. And then Saturday afternoon I will be making my way to the airport, to Alexandria Airport, one of 2. It's a bit of a trek, so it might be either an expensive taxi or the hotel that I'm staying at offer an airport transfer service, so I might see how much that is. See if I can do a deal. Onwards to Corfu via Athens. And the first leg of the epic ride home will be over. That's a bit sad when you say it that way. I'm not quite halfway through the journey, because in Europe I've got far more actual mileage to do, but this half of it I had a deadline for. I've not done as much mileage, but I've done it in a much more compressed amount of time. Whereas when I get to Europe and I pick the bike up, apart from ideally I'd like to make it to the Ducati factory on Thursday the 1st, I haven't got a timetable. It takes me as long to get back as it takes me. Golden Arches, yeah baby. I realised last night when I was sat down for dinner at the hotel that I stayed at, that was the first meal I'd had since I set off. In fact, it's probably the first meal I'd had. What did I eat in Beirut? Breakfast in Beirut. In fact, yeah, that's the first proper meal I've had since I had breakfast at the hotel in Beirut the day before I set off. I've not had a proper meal at all. And I'm not talking like, oh, but I've been picking stuff on the way. I've had literally nothing. I have had zero appetite. I'm not sure whether that's just me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, because if you've met me or if you've seen the body shot in any of my photos, it's not like I need the food. You know, I am carrying a bit of excess timber, so if this trip's an opportunity for me to shed some weight, then winner. But doing it by starving yourself, albeit unintentionally, probably not the best way. But anybody else who's done any travelling, anybody else who's done sort of a ride around Europe or anywhere you've been 2-3 days, have you noticed that in place of your normal breakfast, lunch and dinner routine, that you guys have just, right, we've got somewhere, we're starting somewhere, we need to be somewhere, let's crack on with it. And you just find yourself not eating. You just don't have an appetite. Anybody else found that? Because that's the way it's been for me. Whether that's self-imposed pressure that I've got to be somewhere in a certain amount of time. Whether that's the circumstances of, well, yesterday I didn't get any bloody sleep, or quite what, I'm really not entirely sure. Well, considering the hassles I've had over the last couple of days, I'm not ashamed to say I am actually knackered, but in a really good mood. My update videos that I've done so far, a couple of people have commented saying that, like, I'm really down and I'm really annoyed, and maybe I'm suggesting that I'm regretting having embarked on this trip, done this trip. Yes, it has been a monumental amount of faff, both before I started going and whilst I've been away, whilst I've been gone. The last couple of days have just been ridiculous, but I'm now on the upward slope or on the downward slope. I can't remember whichever one's meant to be good. I'm going to head up to Alexandria, then I'm going to head off on holiday for a month. Sorry, for a week. Fucking hell, I wish it was a month. Then I'm going to head off on holiday for a week, and then I get to do this all over again through Europe. I am looking forward to that. That is going to be good. It's just sucked the last couple of days, not having any sleep yesterday, and all of the hassles I've had with the paperwork and the bureaucracy and border crossings and stuff. But I am glad that I've come on this adventure. Oh, Alexandria, 204 kilometers. Yes, that's the one I want. One fuel stop between here and Alexandria. Between here and where I want to be. That is the first motorcyclist I've seen wearing a lid. Actually looks like a motorcyclist. Salam alaikum. How much? Masalama. Oh, bollocks. Wait. Oh. Well, I found a way of being comfy. Doesn't aggravate my my arse sores. That's to sit side saddle, one cheek fully on, the other cheek half hanging off. That just seems to work. I'm not sure whether it's heat rash or my skin being constantly dipped against a hot sweaty sponge, or whether it's every time I sit down my jeans get pulled really tight across my arse, and that sort of friction is causing some discomfort. Either way, it's quite painful, and I need to find a pharmacy, try and get some E45 I think, and we will smear my buttocks with cream.